Did you know that Fernando Morientes, once a star at Real Madrid, was loaned out only to come back and haunt them in the most dramatic fashion? 3 Champions League titles with Real Madrid. 1 unforgettable Champions League campaign against them. Fernando Morientes' career was anything but ordinary. Let's dive into the story of a striker who refused to be forgotten. Morientes started turning heads early on, catching the eye of Spanish giants Real Madrid. In 1997, they splashed out €6 million to bring him to the Bernabeu. It was a move that would define his career and set him on a path to football stardom. At Real Madrid, Morientes formed a deadly partnership with another Spanish sensation, Raúl. Together they terrorized defenses across Spain and Europe. Their chemistry on the pitch was something special, leading Real Madrid to glory time and time again. During his initial spell at the club, Morientes helped secure 2 La Liga titles and an impressive 3 Champions League trophies. But as we'll soon see, his journey was far from over, and the best was yet to come. But just as Morientes was riding high, Real Madrid's new Galactico policy threatened to derail his career. You might be wondering, what exactly was this Galactico policy? Well, it was a strategy introduced in the early 2000s that focused on signing big-name, superstar players. This approach would change the landscape of not just Real Madrid, but football as a whole. The arrival of Ronaldo from Inter Milan in 2002 was a turning point. Real Madrid splashed out a whopping €45 million for the Brazilian striker. To put that into perspective, it was nearly 8 times what they paid for Morientes. This massive transfer fee showed just how serious Real Madrid were about their new policy. For Morientes, Ronaldo's arrival was like a punch to the gut. Imagine being a star player one day and an afterthought the next. That's exactly what happened to Morientes when Ronaldo arrived. Suddenly, he found himself warming the bench more often than not. It's hard to imagine how it must have felt for him, going from a key player to an afterthought almost overnight. Morientes didn't mince words about the situation. He said, "I had been forced out by the ways of their churlish president Florentino Perez and the arrival of Ronaldo." You can almost feel the frustration in his words, can't you? But Morientes wasn't one to give up easily. He knew the score at a club like Real Madrid. As he put it, when you are in a team like Real Madrid, you always know that the demands are maximum, that you will always have a lot of competition. Still, knowing it and living it are 2 different things. We've all faced setbacks in our careers, but how many of us get to prove our worth on the biggest stage like Morientes did? As the 2003 to 2004 season approached, Morientes realised he needed a change. He wanted more playing time, a chance to prove himself again. But where would he go? The negotiations for his loan move were anything but straightforward. Real Madrid's board had their own ideas. They preferred to loan him to a team outside of Spain. Makes sense, right? They didn't want to strengthen a direct competitor. At first, it looked like Morientes might be heading to Schalke in Germany, but football transfers are never simple. After some back and forth, a last-minute deal was struck. On deadline day, Morientes found himself packing his bags for AS Monaco. What happened when Morientes faced Real Madrid in the Champions League? Stay tuned to find out. So, what happens when a star striker gets pushed aside and sent on loan? For Fernando Morientes, it turned out to be the opportunity of a lifetime. His move to AS Monaco wasn't just a change of scenery, it was the start of an incredible comeback story that would shock the football world. When Morientes arrived in Monaco, he didn't waste any time making an impact. The team had just lost their main striker, Shabani Nonda, to injury. Talk about perfect timing, right? Morientes stepped right into that gap, becoming the key man up front for the French side. Now you might think a player moving to a new league, new country, a new team might take some time to adjust. Not Morientes. He hit the ground running, quickly adapting to life in Ligue 1. But it wasn't just in the domestic league where he was making waves. The Champions League is where Morientes really came alive. Remember, this is a guy who'd won the competition 3 times with Real Madrid. He knew what it took to succeed at the highest level, and boy, did it show. In the group stage alone, Morientes bagged 4 goals in 5 games. That's the kind of form that makes people sit up and take notice. But he wasn't done there. As Monaco progressed through the tournament, Morientes kept delivering when it mattered most. Take the game against Lokomotiv Moscow, for example. Monaco needed an away goal to stay in the competition. Who do you think stepped up? That's right, Morientes. His goal was crucial in helping Monaco move forward in the tournament, but the real drama was yet to come. As fate would have it, Monaco were drawn against Real Madrid in the quarter-finals. The team that had sent Morientes away now had to face him as an opponent. And let me tell you, Morientes was ready. Stay with us as we uncover how Morientes' story unfolds. Now, remember how we mentioned that Morientes' journey was far from over? Well, little did anyone know that his path would lead him right back to face his old team in one of the most dramatic showdowns in Champions League history. It was 2004, and the Champions League quarter-finals had thrown up a mouth-watering clash. As Monaco, with Morientes leading the line, were drawn against none other than Real Madrid. The stage was set for an epic encounter, and boy, did it deliver. The first leg took place at the Santiago Bernabeu on March 24, 2004. Real Madrid, packed with their Galacticos, were the favourites. They lived up to that billing, securing a 4-2 victory. But even in defeat, Morientes managed to leave his mark. He scored a powerful header that flashed beyond Iker Casillas, stealing the game's last laugh despite the loss. That goal put Monaco in a tough spot. They needed to overcome a 4-2 deficit in the second leg. It was a tall order, but if anyone could inspire a comeback, it was Morientes. Fast forward to April 6, 2004, at the Stade Louis II. Monaco needed something special, and Morientes was ready to deliver. He scored a crucial header, bringing Monaco within one goal of progression. It was a moment that showcased just how important he'd become to this Monaco team. But Morientes' goal wasn't just about the scoreline. It was loaded with emotion. Here he was, scoring against the club that had deemed him surplus to requirements. How's that for a statement? Monaco completed an incredible comeback, tying the aggregate score at 5-5. Thanks to the away goals rule, they progressed to the semi-finals. Morientes had played a massive part in knocking out his parent club. Sure, Monaco didn't win the final, losing 3-0 to Porto, but for Morientes, the season was still a triumph. He'd gone from being surplus to requirements at Real Madrid to being one of the stars of the Champions League. You might think Morientes would be over the moon, maybe even a bit smug about proving Real Madrid wrong. But his reaction tells us a lot about his character. He said, "When I scored at the Bernabeu it was tough, but when you're a professional footballer you need to do the same as before no matter who it is against." Scoring against Real Madrid was bittersweet. It was a reminder of what he was capable of. That's the mark of a true professional, isn't it? Even in a moment of personal triumph, Morientes kept his cool. He went on to say, "It wasn't revenge, because when you are a professional, you know how things go." This shows us that for Morientes, it wasn't about getting back at Real Madrid. It was about proving his worth and doing his job for his new team. This tie against Real Madrid wasn't just a football match for Morientes, it was a chance to show everyone what he was capable of. It was an opportunity to remind the world of his talents that Real Madrid had seemingly forgotten. In the end, Morientes' performance against Real Madrid was more than just revenge. It was a statement of his quality, his professionalism, and his resilience. He had taken a setback and turned it into one of the defining moments of his career. And in doing so, he had written himself into Champions League folklore. After his incredible Champions League run with Monaco, you might think Morientes would be welcomed back to Real Madrid with open arms. But football isn't always that simple, is it? His return to the Spanish capital was met with mixed reactions, setting the stage for a complicated final chapter in his Madrid story. Some fans felt betrayed by Morientes' crucial goals against their beloved club during that fateful quarter-final. Can you imagine the conflicting emotions? Here was a player who had given so much to Madrid, now celebrated for knocking them out of Europe. Others, though, were more understanding. They recognised that Morientes had been forced out and was simply doing his job for his new team. Morientes himself was under no illusions about the demands of playing for Real Madrid. He once said, "The demands were especially big on a day-to-day basis. Everything you do the next day is worthless. You always have the highest demands and that ambition to win." It's a stark reminder of the constant pressure cooker environment at top clubs. But why exactly had Morientes been pushed out in the first place? Well, he shed some light on that too. "One of the players who could probably make the most money for them was me," he explained. It's a harsh reality of modern football. Sometimes business decisions trump sporting ones. After his brief return to Madrid, Morientes found himself on the move again. This time he headed to England to join Liverpool. It was a fresh start, and Morientes was excited about the club's rich history and the unique atmosphere at Anfield. He knew the expectations were high, saying, "They spent a lot of money on me, and I knew that I needed to score goals and be good in each game. But his time at Liverpool wasn't without its challenges. Due to UEFA regulations, Morientes couldn't play in Liverpool's famous 2005 Champions League run. He described the experience. Not being able to play in the 2005 run was very, very difficult for me. I was in the crowd watching it, but I left them to their celebrations afterwards. Can you imagine how tough that must have been? To be part there, but not really part of it? Throughout his career, Morientes faced numerous challenges. From competing for his spot at Real Madrid to adapting to new clubs and leagues, the pressure was constant, but he always looked for the silver lining. Speaking about his move to Liverpool, he said, "When you move away from Real Madrid, you need to have a special offer, and for me, Liverpool were that open window." Morientes' journey is a testament to the ups and downs of a footballer's career. From Champions League glory to being loaned out, from sweet revenge to new beginnings, he experienced it all. His story reminds us that even the most successful players face setbacks and challenges, but it's how they respond to these challenges that truly defines their legacy. Thanks for watching, and hey, if you like this video, then we've got another one for you right here. See you next time.